Right, so ahlan wa sahlan. Is it working now? Ahlan wa sahlan, welcome. Right, so today is a very rainy day today. All day been raining like mad. Like we say, raining cats and dogs. Ahlan wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam. Saqib Muhammad, is using fireworks haram? No, unless you use it in the wrong way. Maryam alaikum assalam. There are sisters who are doing hifz, but they find it difficult when they on haid. According to the Hanaf, are they allowed? So in that case, they are permitted to take the position of the Maliki school, which is they are allowed to recite for their hifz. Can I eat shrimp mufti? Yes, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam. Liban, ahla wa sahla, my brother Liban. Thoughts on the most recent Blood Brothers podcast with Imran Mansoor? He was insinuating that it was fard wajib for everyone to take arms. Allahu a'lam. I haven't seen it and I wouldn't be able to comment on that. Assalamu alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's your view on boycotting Israeli products? Someone said we should boycott. I would definitely, I boycott Israeli products. But the thing is, what is the definition of Israeli product? Is it directly made in Israel? Is it a company that is supporting Israel through there? So I think one of the things that Friends of Aqsa mentioned was what you do is you try to avoid at least three things. So try to find the most three companies which are the most supporting of Israel, and then you boycott them, like Hewlett Packard, HP, McDonald's, Puma. These are the ones. Try to avoid. Don't try to avoid everything because you're just going to make your life very hard for yourself and others. So try to avoid what's within your capacity, because there's too many companies now that are actually supporting Israel in different ways. You can actually go online and you can actually find websites that will actually tell you how each company or how much each company is supporting Israel and in what capacity. Check that out. Someone said we should boycott Hajj and Umrah to make it. No, I don't know. That just sounds a bit strange. So Hajj and Umrah, okay, Umrah maybe, but Hajj is, if it's fard on you, then you don't go. If it's not fard on you, then you can boycott. But the fard Hajj, you must go for that fard Hajj. There's no audio. As I was about to say, there's no Audi. Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Better yet, ahlan wa sahlan. Alhamdulillah. Amjidillahi. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Bread pit. Can I eat shrimp? Yes, you can eat it, inshallah. Boycott medicine of TEVA brand. Okay, check that one out. And Uzair, wa alaikum assalam. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Slave of Allah. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome. Welcome, my brother. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Today I've got my nice Turkish tea here on this cold day, cold rainy day outside. I've got Turkish tea. By the way, tomorrow I've got a talk in Oldham. So tomorrow I will be in Oldham, inshallah. There's a charity event for Gaza. Inshallah, I'm going to be giving a talk there in Oldham. Right, so make sure you check it out, guys, in Oldham, inshallah. If any of you guys are around about Oldham, come down, inshallah. What I'll do is I'll put up the event on some social media. In fact, let me see if I can find on my social media. Did I put it up or not? Actually, can't find it. Can't find where it is. 1 second. Let's see if I can find. Give me a second, guys. Let me just try to see if I can find. Okay. The talk is. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. It's at Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall. Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall. Inshallah. Yeah, so let me just share it on my. Okay, Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall. All 100% proceeds are going to Gaza. So a charity event, inshallah. Check it out, guys. Ibn Arabi Ahla wa Sahlan. Boycott Waze, the map app. It's made by an IDF agent. Okay, but I think it's bought by Google, isn't it? Google's bought it. So I think it's made by them, but Ibn Adam, alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Spend, ahla wa sahlan, alaikum assalam, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, my brother. Ahlan wa sahlan. How is Europe? How is inland Europe doing? Are you guys missing us? Uzair, may Allah accept your efforts. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Uzair, benefiting a lot from your videos. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you, Brother Uzair. May Allah put barakah in your studying, in your ilm, in your knowledge. Alhamdulillah. Makes me happy when I see people benefiting from the videos that I make. It inspires me, makes me happy that alhamdulillah I made these videos. And you know, the aim of my channel is always been to benefit people. Yeah, that's the aim of the channel, is to make sure that I can, whatever I've learnt, is to make it as easy to understand as possible. Alhamdulillah. And if I can get you guys to understand the Quran, and I can get you guys to understand hadith and fiqh, alhamdulillah. So make dua, guys. I'm able to complete that. TZ wa alaikum assalam. MashaAllah, Shu'aib. Ahlan wa sahlan. MashaAllah. Yesterday, I was at the shop yesterday. Guys, make sure you go to a place called Little Desserts here. Little Desserts. It's, if you Google it, Little Desserts in Lozals. Make sure you go there. MashaAllah. Very nice food. I'm not really a kind of keen dessert kind of guy that much because just too much sugar overload, but it is nice. Like it's nice. It's not something afterwards you'll feel bloated. It's a good dessert. Check it out, guys. Check it out. This is my man Shu'aib and co. Shu'aib and Hamza and Mu'een. Sorry, I'm not sure if I've asked this before, but if your intro to iftar course, an actual iftar course that equips the student, same skills, inshallah it will. Yeah. So the intro, I call it intro to iftar because I do not believe that there is any iftar course out there that really gives you the ability to be a mufti, because all iftar courses are really stepping stones to leading you to gain research skills. That's what the aim is. So that's why I don't like calling it iftar course an iftar course myself. I call it intro to iftar. So, and because it's only once a week, then obviously it's of a less frequency than the other iftar courses out there. That's why I don't like calling it an iftar course. I'm not saying that the other courses out there are not iftar courses per se. They are, alhamdulillah, maybe they are, maybe they're not. But what I'm saying is that because it's once a week and it is quite intense, I would say, it does require a lot of effort. And you know, we've had this year we've had about, I think it's about 15, 16 intakes this year. A few have dropped out because it's a bit intense. But yeah, I think that's the thing you have to remember. In any iftar course, you have to remember you're going to have to put lots of effort in outside of class. A lot of reading you have to do, a lot of research. Move this up. Can recitation of salawat be gifted to the dead? Yes, inshallah, it can be. Can one double intend istikhara and the fard? I don't understand that. Explain. Could you explain Ashari, Athari, and Maturidi? Yes. So basically, when it comes to Aqidah, so Aqidah is whatever we believe in that has come in the Quran and has been explained by the Prophet ﷺ. That is what Aqidah is. It's basically that aspect of belief which you could never have figured out yourself. It came from Allah, right? So it's something which, like, believing in the names of Allah and believing that Allah has created the Day of Judgment and all these things. So that is belief. That will never ever change anywhere ever. That's always fixed. It's a fixed number of things you have to believe in. Now, as time went by, because foreign beliefs and foreign ideologies started to attack Islam, so in order for the scholars to strengthen the Muslims and allow them to be able to challenge these beliefs, they took the Aqidah in Islam and they devised for it a mechanism, like a debating mechanism, an aqli, a rational debating mechanism to counter and to respond for each Aqidah from a rational point of view. So they came out with this, and then Abu al-Hasan Ash'ari, Abu Mansur Maturidi, they were the forerunners of this. Right, so they devised a way of rationalizing how we counter Aqidah issues and issues which they throw at us, but we can't find an exact kind of belief point in the Quran and Sunnah regarding that thing. They come out with like an answer for it. So I would say Aqidah is like valuables, gold and silver, and Ashari Maturidi Ilm al-Kalam, we call it, is like the safe that they kept in. The safe they kept in is not aqidah. It's what's inside of it is aqidah. Okay, Anas, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What are the conditions for continuing the salah where you left off due to breaking wudu? Is it not only speaking with the... Yes, they say that's the main one. That if you break your salat, if you break your wudu, you got to break it accidentally, not deliberately. And then you do wudu and come back without speaking to anyone. Now, some of them have added to that, you don't go toilet. So if you went to do wudu, but then you just thought I'd go toilet at the same time, then you lose that dispensation. Wa alaikum assalam, Ihsan. The duff instrument in non-nikah events in the Hanafi school. Yes, it's permissible. Assalamu alaikum. Two-tailed scarf hanging off the shoulders in the front during salah in the Hanafi school. Yes, permissible. I believe engagement celebrations and Islamic invention, as long as you don't believe them to be something which is integral to Islam, they're okay. They're like, for example, like the same as the ruling of a birthday party, the same as the ruling of a graduation party, same as the ruling as I don't know, getting a new car, house party. Same thing. Right, Ustad, someone showed me a crypto trading app. It has an element of a Ponzi scheme. You don't have to sign up people to make money, but returns are greater if you do. Would it be haram? So I gotta know exact details. How does it work? Because I can't tell just from that. Can one intend salat istikhara too for the fard prayer? So istikhara is done after nawafil prayer, not after fard prayer. Oh, nawafil. So nafil and sunnah. Bridge to eternity. Alaikum assalam wa alaikum assalam. Trust you're well. Alhamdulillah. If I went to a non-Muslim fortune teller just for fun or to see what the fortune teller says, but does not believe what... No, you haven't committed shirk. If one has credit, but it's obviously these kind of things a person should not go to, right? So a person should not even sort of like entertain the idea of going to these things, because these are things which are just waste of time. They are nonsense. They are just lies, wasting your money going to them. So people should avoid going to these individuals. And then especially if there's other people watching you do that, and then they kind of see it as being legitimate because of your actions. If one has credit card debts, will every they consume become haram? No, it won't. Credit card debts, it won't be. I mean, obviously, a person should not have credit card debts where they have to pay, what do you call it, interest. But their du'as and everything will not be affected by that, inshallah. If I spend £10 on a card and I get 10p, for example, from card company, is that this interest or riba? And so how does that exactly work? Explain. Tell us about Sharh Ma'ani Athar and what the purpose of the text is. So Sharh Ma'ani Athar is written by Imam Tahawi, and this is a book which is presenting the arguments from the Hanafi school from a hadith and from a usul point of view. So how do we take the hadith and support the Hanafi position, and then how do we respond from a rational point of view, the arguments that are presented by others? That's what it is. Ihsan, women leading Jama'ah, is it makruh tahrim or makruh tanzih? How does inheritance work in family of both parents and 4 sons and 2 daughters? So who has passed away? So who has passed away? In a university setting with diverse Muslims, what is the best way to teach fiqh to them? I don't know exactly, but there is an organization in the UK called Roots. Roots R-O-O. It's got nothing to do with the Roots of Knowledge. It's called Roots. It's run by some good friends of mine. Alhamdulillah, they are actually running courses, various courses, including madhabs and fiqh in universities. So if you contact them, I think they'd be able to tell you the best way. I've given lectures in universities in the past, but teaching like structured courses, I haven't really done that. So I wouldn't really have experience of that. I mean, generally, teach a madhab. That's what you do. People should not be afraid of teaching a madhab. You shouldn't be afraid of teaching a madhab. You should actually just teach a madhab, and then tell people, look, this is a structured way that course has been made, and we just study this, and then after that, if you want to study another madhab, it's up to you. Assalamu alaikum, Ghazi, ahlan wa sahlan. When reciting dua, do hands need to be by your side? According to Hanafis, yes, by your side. According to Hanafis, you put your hands by your side. No one has passed, but if father passed away, how much is given to each person? Wife, 4 sons, and 2 daughters. So if the father passes away, the wife is going to get 1/8 of the 500k, and the rest of it is going to be divided between the children in such a way that the sons will get, each son will get double, and the daughters will get a single share. Yeah. So I mean, if I do it, how will I do it? So in other words, divide it by 16, 24, 24. So 24, the wife will get. So you start off, you divide 500,000 by 24, and the wife is going to get 1/8, which is going to work out to be three shares, and then you're left with 21 shares. And then the 21 shares, you divide it between the children, right? So what you do is, you've got 4 sons and 2 daughters, haven't you? So 4 sons is going to equal 8, 2 is 10. So you divide 21 by 10, and then each person, each daughter, you're going to give 1 share to, and each son you're going to give 2 shares to. Yeah, that's basically how you're going to do it. It's the easiest way to understand it. So 10 over 21, so 21, so that means like that. Does that make sense? Okay, is there sajda sahu for taharra if one firmly believes he's in 3rd rakat, and will sajda sahu be wajib for making judgment? Yes, person should do sajda sahu. Do you know any halal banks in the UK? I unfortunately haven't looked into it. Everyone spent on the card 5 pence or 10 pence the card company gives. So I don't know, what card are you talking? Is it a bank card? Is it a credit card? Is it just a gift card? What is it? I don't understand. Sheikh Ahmad Al-Sharif Al-Azhari starting program, is he a reliable scholar? I don't know him personally. I wouldn't be able to comment on it. So I mean, if the Azhar University has recognized him, and there's people who you know who have studied by him, then I'd ask them. That's the best people to ask. So for £10, maybe 20 to 50p the card company gives. Yes, I still don't understand exactly how this works. Roots don't teach fiqh. They don't teach fiqh here. But they'd be the best people to ask how to teach it, because they know the environment and they've been working with students for quite a while. Riyaz Said, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan, my brother Riyaz. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a good time. Any plans to come Canada soon? I would love to come Canada, but unfortunately I'm quite busy at the moment. But yeah, inshallah. I mean, I was invited a couple of years ago to Canada, but it was just too far. I think it was Edmonton, and it was too far just for the weekend, and it was just going to be too exhausting just to come for one event. Irfan, wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Irfan. I hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying yourself, enjoying this rainy day. 1% cashback on every debit card spending for your first year, exception and limit supply. Okay, I see. So it's a debit card, and you basically, whatever you buy, they are going to give you cashback on whatever you buy. Yeah. Okay, so in that case, I mean, I'd have to look at the terms and conditions, but effectively or usually, it's not allowed. Yeah, it wouldn't be allowed. Can you recommend a book which has things we can do for the dead? I heard some mentioned 11 Ikhlas, etc. If benefits transmitted. I don't know of any specific book, but there is one book one of my friends wrote. It's called, let's see if I've got it over here. I think it's actually called What Can We Do for the Deceased? Something on that lines, by Dr. Shahrul. Dr. Shahrul Hussain has written it. Well, he's a Hanafi scholar. What can we do? Let's see. No, I can't seem to find it. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly. But if you try to look for it, Dr. Shahrul Hussain, I think it's called What Can We Do for the Deceased? That is, there are some books in Arabic, but those are the English ones. What do Hanafis do when in masjid and they do kunut nazila outside Ramadan? Do they follow in every aspect? Yes, just follow in every aspect without raising of the hands. Put the hands to the side. Sika wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Among the signs of the end of times, will the Masjid Aqsa be martyred and Jewish settlement? We don't know. We have no categorical hadith or ayat in the Quran that explicitly mentions this. There's some indication that it might happen, it might not happen. But we don't have anything explicit. It's I mean, the thing to remember is, look, if Masjid al-Aqsa has, the building that we see, it's actually been demolished many times in history because of earthquakes usually. And it was taken over by the Christians for about 90 odd years, 800 years ago. And Freemasons had built their own structures inside of it, and they did things inside of it. So things have happened in the past. So if a building is destroyed, I mean, Muslims should not see that as something which is destroyed the ummah. The building being destroyed, alhamdulillah, the Muslims are alive. The iman is in their hearts. So this is the main thing. The thing that we have to realize is Muslims will always have victory in the end. But do we want to be with that victory, or do we not want to be with that victory? That's the thing. It's a bank card company called Chase. Okay. Jazakallah, thanks for coming to Adizat Shop in Lozals. Inshallah, catch you next visit. Inshallah, my brother. Inshallah. Is perfume aftershave spray that is vegan permissible to wear? It won't invalidate wudu. Seems fine, yeah. I mean, as long as it does not have anything else in there, it seems fine. Yeah. So those kind of cards, those kind of cards usually are not allowed. Those kind of schemes, usually not allowed. I'd have to look in the terms and conditions, but generally they are based upon interest. The interest that is because they're giving you money and their predominant income is interest money. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahu ahla wa sahlan. Welcome, my brother. Allahu. I hope you're well. I hope you next time, inshallah, I'm coming down your house, bro. I prayed Zuhr 4 rakats farz on my own. I forgot to sit down after 2 rakats and ended up doing sahu after 4 rakats. Is that permissible? You did correct, my brother. You're very well. If I know it's not allowed and continue using but not in Ramadan, am I out of Islam? No, you're not out of Islam. Why Jews are expelled from England, France, Spain, and numerous places, major reasons? I don't know. But what I would suggest, you can read a book called Pawns of the Game. Yeah. Let me just show you guys. Have a read of this. I read this book about 15 years ago. 15, 16 years ago. The game. Pawns in the Game is called. Pawns in the Game. So, you get audio. You can listen to it on YouTube audio as well. It's audio book as well. And is it shirk? No, it's not. Which mosque are you based in, and what times are you there visit in person, brother? I'm usually at a Sufa Institute, so I'm there most of the day. Otherwise, my local mosque is either the Saddam Hussein Mosque or GBMF. Those are the usual mosques I'm at, but I'm traveling around a lot, so it's going to be difficult to try and find me. Masjid Aqsa means the land with its structure. Yeah, Masjid Aqsa, if you actually Google Masjid Aqsa and look in the images, if you've ever been there, it's actually the whole sanctuary. It's a massive area. What are the evidences for women's salah postures being different from men's? There's hadith in Abu Dawood, there's other narrations. There's actually a book someone has written. It's in Urdu. They're actually compiled from the 4 madhabs, all of the aqwal that show that women's salat is different. Yeah, so there's a famous hadith in Abu Dawood where the Prophet ﷺ saw a woman praying, and then he said to her, when you pray, put your limbs as close as possible together. Nobody will expel for no reason. They may have done serious mischief. Yeah, so check out that. There's actually historic documentation of the history of the Jewish community in Europe and what happened to them, and also in Muslim Spain as well. I mean, they lived in Muslim Spain for a very long time, so you got to remember that as well. In the Hanafi madhab, is attending the Jama'ah only Sunnah Mu'akkada or is it wajib? There's a ikhtilaf in that. Some of the Hanafis say Sunnah Mu'akkada, like Sahib Hidayah says. Others say no, it's wajib. Ibn Abidin seems to incline towards wujub. When you can hear the adhan, according to some, do comment on the hadith. So, yeah. Slave of Allah, do you teach Mufti Taqiy's Fiqh al-Buyu in Iftar or generally? No, I don't teach that. But I do give it to students to read. Yes, I'll give sections of it for students to reading practice for certain topics. How much notice would you need if someone were to invite you for a talk near Birmingham? Probably at least 2 or 3 weeks. At least 2 or 3, because usually my weekends are I have something on. So at least 2 or 3 weeks, I'd say. Unless it's like someone I really, really know, then maybe it might be a bit sooner. But usually about 2 or 3 weeks. Daniel, ahlan wa sahlan wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, my brother Daniel. Sometimes the meaning of a fa'il when translating to English is like the meaning of a maf'ul. Why is that? Like, give me an example. Give me an example, inshallah, and I will let you know. What improvements would you like to see in Alimiya course? Loads of improvements. I would like to see lots and lots of improvements. Where shall I start, my brother? Where shall I? You tell me, first of all, you tell me what improvements you see that you would like to see, and then I will tell you my improvements, inshallah. And anyone can join in this, inshallah. What kind of those, obviously, would only be relevant to comment if you're familiar with the Daras Nizami and you've actually been through it. Okay, here are some questions. Assalamu alaikum. Can you answer these questions on the live stream? Yes, I can. If I study your YouTube Quduri, what skills should I have by the end? What should I work towards? So you should, number one, you should be able to understand the translation of the text, what the text is saying, what each word means, what each sentence means. Number two, you should also understand the masail in each chapter. Right, so that's what your end result. Two things I would say. The main, primary, chief two things that you want to take away is understanding the text and then understanding the application of the masail. Like, what does the masala actually look like in an example? That would be the two things. I did mention to you guys on Telegram that I'm thinking of starting a Quduri session, live sessions, which will basically be geared towards. It's not going to be explaining the text. It's just going to be more like tafaqquh, where we go through masail and we just kind of like explain the fiqh concepts behind them, the underlying concepts, and how the Hanafis look at it. So it's going to be more for those who are a bit advanced. You would have had to looked at the other videos beforehand in order to benefit from these. So I won't be answering people's questions when they say, oh, what does this word mean? Or what does that sentence mean? I won't be answering those. It's just tafaqquh. So that's, can you explain the adab of dua? Is there a way dua should be structured? So generally, there's no specific way to make a dua. You just ask Allah. That's all you do. You ask Allah. But some of the adabs and etiquettes that we get from the Quran and from Hadith are, for example, like raising of the hands. That's one of the adab of those du'as in which raising of the hands is there. And because some du'as you don't have raising of the hands, like du'a when you enter toilet, or du'a when you leave the toilet, or du'a, before you go to sleep or entering the house, etc. There's no raising of the hands there. And then you have starting your du'a with salutation, praising Allah, salutation the Prophet ﷺ, and then asking, and then ending with salutation the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah. And asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anything that you like in your du'as, anything you like. Is it wrong if a person has more love for their father than their mother? No, not at all. That's just something in your heart. So a person will naturally have love for one individual more than another. You can't help that. So that isn't, but obviously treating them differently would be wrong. Treating them in a way that's clearly unfair would be wrong. How should one go about praying at work if usually they deal with mild urine incontinence? At home, they have a set of clothes for just daily living, and when it's time to pray, they clean themselves and just... Okay, so salam, they simply have to do wudu for every salah and try to put some tissue in their underwear. Underwear. Otherwise, they don't have to keep changing their clothing. Okay, so you don't have to keep changing the clothes. Okay, let's check some of these out then. Bridge to eternity. What is the bare minimum one must do to save from the grave punishment and on Qiyamah? Just don't do anything wrong. Every single thing that a person does wrong, there's going to be effect of that in the grave, unless you've asked serious tawbah from Allah. That's the bare minimum. I've heard that food at the dark rooms are not good. So good. I don't know. I haven't really kind of experienced that. I've been in Pakistan, so the food there was okay. So I mean, sometimes I would generally eat separately from the main kitchen. We'd have our own like chef. It wasn't like the best food that they cook, but you just gotta get used to it. Sometimes in life you gotta compromise things. That I would say that if you're gonna join a darul you gotta be ready for compromising. Sharif, wa alaikum assalam, my brother Sharif, Kaif al from America, from New Jersey. Did you guys see the protests in Washington today? MashaAllah, so many people came out. Due to current Palestine issue, most people are showing antagonism to including neighbors. Tips would be appreciated to deal with this antagonism. I haven't experienced it, so I wouldn't be able to really kind of share that with you. But I would say generally just be neighbors. You need to build a rapport with your neighbors. You need to have like a long sort of like a good experience with your neighbors. Send food to them. Yeah, help them out if they need anything. Those kind of things. And obviously, it depends where you live. If you live in an area where people have a natural tendency to be a bit racist, then there's something which you can't really help that much. But always remember, just try to be your best towards your neighbors. Try to do your kindest, help them out. Go out of your way for your neighbors, even if they don't do it for you. Which weekdays or times are best to invite you for a talk near Birmingham? It just depends. You just gotta contact me, email me, and then I'll be able to tell you. Because sometimes my weekends are all packed out with functions or events or talks or just family things. Should Alimiya courses deliver Dawra for over a few years and advanced research skills and possibly some social sciences? Should deliver Dawra over a few years? Definitely. I think Dawra, if you want a serious Alimiya course, you have to study Dawra over a few years. And I think fiqh needs to be taught over a few years as well, like really solid. You need to have several years of in-depth fiqh analysis. In fact, even like iftar can be incorporated into the Alimiya course easily. Social sciences, definitely 100%. Students need skills to understand what's happening in the world. Because a lot of guys, when they qualify, they just qualify and they don't really have any. They don't have any skills or engagement party. Are there any du'as of having beautiful children? Allah knows best. Are you asking for children, or is it specifically beautiful children, good-looking children? So at the end of the day, I think good-looking children is all about parents. If the parents are good-looking, then usually the children are going to look good, right? And if the parents don't really have good looks, then children are going to, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The main thing is to have good, pious children. Always ask Allah for pious children. Nowhere in the Quran do we find people asking for certain characteristics in children more than piety. Piety is the most important thing, because good looks can end up making them a bit arrogant, can making them become full of themselves, like they say. So I think just ask Allah for pious, healthy children. Is watching boxing permissible? If any part of the aura is being shown, nakedness, things like that, then no. Asif Ali wassalam, with regards to the length of the beard in Hanafi school, contemporary scholars differ in their practice. Is there due to due to different opinion, one keeping it shorter, yes, there would be a valid opinion. No, I mean, if those people who believe it's wajib would obviously consider cutting it less to be sinful, but those people, because it's an ijtihadi issue, you can't consider someone who has a valid ta'wil, ijtihad, to be sinful. Yeah, so for example, let's say there's a Shafi who doesn't believe washing the mouth and the nose in ghusl is necessary. You'd have to pray behind him now. So if you go to that detail of following someone, this is where it kind of causes difficulty in being able to live amongst various madhabs. So I would say no, it wouldn't be considered to be sinful. Wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. But obviously, it would depend what you're following. As if that's what it would. So if you kind of firmly believe that having a beard, which is the size of a fist, necessary, then for you to cut it shorter than that, you obviously your ijtihad would lead you for it to be sinful. But you wouldn't apply that to another person because their ijtihad is following another approach. Sharif wa alaikum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan, wa ma arsalnaka ila rahmatil alameen. Can you give some insight to the balagha, like the use of noun form of mercy? Ma arsalnaka illa rahmatan lil alamin. So ma here is ma negating, which comes for negating a misconstrued concept or misunderstood concept. So ma arsalnaka. So if someone says, for example, yeah, the Prophet ﷺ was sent to do business, or he was sent to build a family, or he was sent to start something up, then no, ma arsalna, he was not sent for anything at all except as a mercy to mankind. This hasar, we call this hasar in balagha, we call it hasar idafi, because he was sent to send the message. So if he was only sent as a rahmatul alameen, how does that work with when he was sent to speak justice, or sent with the message, or sent to stop dhulm, etc.? So we say this is hasar idafi. And those who say it's hasar haqiqi would say the risala comes under the rahmah. All of this is part of the rahmah. In fact, if you look under this verse, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah has written extensively under this whole concept of how the Prophet ﷺ is a mercy. You can find it in, I think it's Ruh al-Ma'ani under this verse. He mentions him. And then ma arsalnak is a fi'l, jumla fi'liya, which comes for tajaddud. Rahmat al-alameen, so rahmatan. So this is obviously istithna munqati' or istithna, where the mustathna minhu has been omitted. Other than being a Mawlana of the Shaykh, no holy man, how can one be the best possible human than others for Allah? Just obey Allah. I mean, it's very, very easy. This concept is very easy. It's hard to act upon. Just be a good person in the sense that you be kind to your family, you be kind to your parents, your neighbors, you're praying your salat on time, you're giving your charity, you're standing up for the oppressed. It's basically all of that. That's what it means. Do you do online classes for beginners with sub? I do not do one-on-one classes because I don't really have time for the one-on-one. Unless it's for my patrons, then for them I have like sometimes a once a month session. But otherwise I don't do online. I have a Hidayah class that runs on Wednesdays at 10:30. So Wednesdays at 10:30 I have a Hidayah class, UK time. Daniel بالعمل يحصل الثواب لا بالكسل. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Brilliant. Very nice. Ian, wa alaikum assalam, ahla wa sahlan. Can you please elaborate on the permissibility of car insurance? Car insurance is not allowed. It's insurance, and the vast majority of scholars are on the opinion that insurance is considered to be prohibited. However, out of necessity, you can take it out. Yeah, out of necessity. So because it's the law of the land, you can take it out. I hear many say it's become permissible due to necessity. Under what conditions? So necessity as in the government will not allow you to drive a car without it. That would be sufficient necessity. One does not need to be in a tariqah or have a sheikh in order to live a basic Muslim life. Yes, that's correct. It's like one does not need a trainer to go to a gym. You can go to a gym and you can do all the weights yourself. But will you get the most out of the gym? Will you get the most out of your session or not? That's where you can't do it without a mentor or trainer. That's the benefit of a tariqah or a mentor sheikh, where the sheikh will actually have advanced knowledge of that particular training and he'll give you the tips. The fi'l is marfu, but in the meaning is majhul. Yeah, I mean, if you give me an example, is it permissible for Muslims to be a boxer, do boxing? I would say not professionally. I see. What you don't realize, a lot of professional boxers, they have a lot of mental problems later on, health problems later on. Is breakdown cover permissible? I would say if it is like, if it makes your life very difficult, if it happened, then I would say it would be permissible. Yeah, and for people who travel a lot and then trying to get their car back home and get it sorted out, it could be a big headache. Could have a knock-on effect on their job. Could have an effect on their work, on their whatever they have to do. So in that case, I generally I would say for people who are in need of their car and it does cause a big hassle, and depending on where you live, etc., then I would say yeah, permissible to take it. Otherwise, no. Is it harmful to see too many mutilated pictures from bombing an enemy want to put fear in the Muslims by showing all these deaths? And not necessarily. I think some people are more prone to these kind of images and get affected very quickly. So it would differ from person to person. Generally, I mean, it's not a nice thing naturally for a human to see a lot of dead bodies and things. It has an effect on your heart. I don't like looking at these things. I get too upset. So I try not to look at these images. Where are the quantities which are mentioned in rulings like walking a farsakh for khufs? The 10 dhira come from? Is it just a quantity given to make things easier? So these kind of things are what we call taysir. They come out with these taysiran, right, to make the ruling easier. And some of them are obviously based on certain other ahkam as well. Yeah, so where they would say, for example, like sometimes the 3-day concept is based upon the concept of haraj. Maybe they base that upon, let's say, things like 3 days of traveling. So say 3 days of traveling, and then 3 days, they'll say, of a rat that was found in a well. So they use those kind of. Okay, I'm going to go off Insta now. So Insta people, if you want to continue, then come on to Facebook or YouTube. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair Mu'een, MashaAllah for your kind support. May Allah bless you, my brother Mu'een. Jazakumullah khair Mu'een and Shaib, MashaAllah, you guys are wonderful people. Okay. All right, next. Are arms not placed on chest during witr kunut? Yeah, on witr kunut, Hanafis fold their arms, witr kunut, but not kunut nazila. Kunut nazila, your hands on the side. Which tariqah would you recommend for laymen? I don't know. I don't follow a particular tariqah, so I wouldn't be able to. Hello, I am a non-Muslim interested in Islam. Who can I reach out to have more info? So what I would say, Jean, is there is an organization called IERA. IERA. So if you type that in Google, IERA, and contact them, they will be able to give you a lot of help and support, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you, Jean. The money made from boxing would be classed as impermissible, right? It's a difficult one to say, actually. It's a difficult one to say, but generally there would be karahat in there, I would say. Now, again, it all depends upon obviously what ijtihad you take on this. So there might be some ijtihads that say that it's actually permissible. I'm just telling you from my own understanding. If it's a professional, then I would say it would not be allowed, and therefore there would be definitely karahat in the income. Jazakallah khair, Irfan, mashallah, for your kind donation. May Allah bless you. May Allah put barakah in your time, in your effort, in your health. Let's take this off. MSP بالأمر يحصل ثواب لا بالكسل. Oh, is that the sentence? Ah, is that what you're saying? I thought that was يحصل is a ma'ruf, but in the meaning of majhul, I see, rewards is acquired. So bil amali يحصل, it depends on how you translate, isn't it? So if you translate it as rewards occur, are met, are found, coming to fruition through actions, not through laziness. So if you were to usually translate it as rewards are gained, then clearly that's the majhul, isn't it? Then that would be majhul. So I think it's just understanding the urf of how you say things in the target language. So what the target language you want to translate into, you need to understand how they say things. That was the example for the question regarding the meaning of fa'il being I see, fa'il being majhul, yeah. So it's just something you're going to have to pick up as you go along, because you can't translate everything from one language to another and keep everything perfectly the same, because so languages are based upon expression as well. So people express things in different ways as well. So for example, like you might say what did you have for tea today? What did you have for tea? And in another language, that same sentence is not said like that. In another language, you might say that what did you eat? What did you eat in your tea? Yeah, or for your tea. So each language is based upon urf. So that learning that urf, learning that expression is part of balagha, really. Learning the urf of the English language. Is wrestling sunnah? I've seen a fatwa that says that the style of wrestling that we have nowadays is different. So there's actually a book that you guys can get. Check this out. It's called Prophetic Grappling. Prophetic Grappling. Check this out. It's okay book. I haven't read through all of it. You guys can let me know what you think. But generally, there isn't specific reward attached to there isn't a specific reward attached to a wrestling unless there is intention behind it. Yeah. So any sport you do, any exercise you do to keep fit, to keep healthy, there is reward attached to it. What was Palestine called in the time of Isa alayhi salam, and when and how was it named Palestine? I don't know. I have no idea what it was called in the time of Palestine. From the time of the Prophet ﷺ, we know Palestine was there. But when was it exactly called Palestine? Allah knows best. Maybe you'll have to Google it. Have you come across a read or Hashiyat al-Durr? Yes. Hashiyat al-Durr is it by Mullah Miskin? That one. Assalamu alaikum, ahlan wa sahlan, zaid sangal de, khairiyat de, tabiyatun de khadi. Is a sa'a 4 times mud in the Hanafi madhab, or is there a difference of opinion? So everyone agrees that a sa'a is made up for mud, but the disagreement is what is a mud made up of? Yeah, is it made up of 2 rittles, or is it made up of 1 1/3 rittle? What is the ruling on congregation tahajjud for Palestine? As long as you don't believe it's something which is necessary to do, or is part of something which was legislated by the Prophet ﷺ, it's okay, and as long as it's not made a habit. It's the same for like night what is it called, Qiyamul Layl in Ramadan, in the last 10 days. For fidya of missing salah for the deceased, does that need to be taken off the estate of the deceased? Only if they had. So if they, before they died, if they had told you to give it, then you take it from their assets, but only from up to 1/3 of the assets. If it comes up to 1/3, nothing more. If they have not told you, then you're not allowed to take it from their estate assets. Does the statement "what comes around goes around" have any Islamic standing? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, meaning that you will be judged, you will be taken to account of whatever you do. In that sense, كما تدين تدان is a statement. كما تدين تدان. لا يحيق المكر السيء إلا بأهله. the negative effects of doing harm will not affect except the people who instigate it. What type of sunnah are things like eating on the floor, wearing if we so these are what we called routine. These are called normal daily routine sunnahs. So the daily routine sunnahs, there's no specific reward attached to them, like living in Medina, wearing slippers, um, using water in a bucket instead of a tap, wearing the ihram clothing on a daily basis. These are called routine practice of the Prophet ﷺ. So there's no specific reward attached to them unless the Prophet ﷺ stated. In relation to best tariqah, I'd say tariqah Muhammadiyya of Sheikh Ahmad Dabbagh, as it is non-sectarian and is focused on avoiding sins of the 7 limbs, and it is adhkar are all okay. Why was the occupied land in Palestine renamed as Israel rather than New Palestine? I have no idea about that. I have no idea of history of Palestine. You're going to have to ask someone who's a historian. Tasneem, ahla wa sahla wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If 3 people have shares of a qurbani of a cow and one of their income is haram, then can we eat the so technically it would be allowed, right? You can the meat wouldn't be haram. However, it depends. Is all of their income haram? Is it every single part of it, as in they have no halal income at all? What exactly do they do? I need to know that. But otherwise, it'd be permissible to eat. If someone has done ghusl in past not knowing mouth rinsing was needed, was it okay? Yes. In the past it was okay, but from now on, you must do it. Why are the older Kuduri videos being re-uploaded? So if you've noticed, the sound in them, a lot of people... so basically, I'm teaching fiqh. I'm teaching a book called Tuhfatul Tullab. It's a poem, Hanafi fiqh in poem form. And some of the students, they come to me and say, that we want to follow the lessons with the Kuduri lessons, but the sound is too low. So what I did was I thought I'd re-edit it. So I re-edited the sound, fixed the sound up, so hopefully it should be fine. So I'm going to try to re-upload the early ones where the sound was low. For some reason, I can't remember why the sound was low. It wasn't that low before, but what has happened, I think, is YouTube, I think since 2016, 2017, a lot of their videos have become affected. I think they changed something in their settings. And they did say that some of your videos might be affected by these changes. Allah knows best. Will you be coming to the Palestine protest tomorrow in Birmingham? Tomorrow I have a talk in Oldham. I'm going to do a Gaza talk tomorrow, inshallah, in Oldham. So I'll be there, inshallah. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. But hopefully I'm thinking of coming to the national protest that's going to take place in London next Saturday, inshallah. Did the Prophet ﷺ give special care to maintain relations with Khadija's children from previous marriages? I have not come across anything regarding that. Allah knows best. Best to ask someone who has researched Sira in depth. Right, Curious Cat. Back to Curious Cat then. Is it permissible for someone to make dirty jokes with other colleagues of the same gender? Nothing too extreme, of course. So long as they are not done in a way that is humiliating to a person or makes people look down on them, then it will be okay, but not the best thing to do. Yeah, so that's what that would be. Okay, is watching professional boxing or mixed martial arts? Okay, so I answer this one. If it requires looking at the aura, nakedness, then no. Okay, assalamu alaikum. What are the differences between... Okay, I don't know. Khalas. Curious cat. Khatam. Assalamu alaikum. Ahmad Ahla wa sahla. My beard has been growing out and people see me perform salah and look at me in practicing light. I don't like this. It often means when I'm with them, I feel a pressure to be perfect and not cross Islamic red lines. This has made me think by doing this and keeping myself in check because they're watching me, I'm associating part of it. No, it's very good. This is exactly what is actually wanted from a person. By you practicing, you have to conform to a certain standard. That is a good thing, that is. And make dua to Allah that Allah gives you the ability to have that inside of yourself in public and private. Yeah, so it's a good thing. So sometimes you keep a beard. Now, every time you hang around with some people who do bad stuff, they think, you know what? Oh, this guy's got a beard. Let's not do it in front of him. That is actually a good way of making people have respect for the emblems of Islam. Yeah, I would say. Definitely. It's a good thing. Definitely. It's a good thing. What is your view of fiqh al-muyassar of Mawlana Nadawi is based on Quduri, I believe. It's not necessarily based on Quduri. There's two parts to it, part one and part two. I think it's more based upon things like Hadi Alaiya and Nur Idah, things like that. So it's good. It's very good to start off with. Assalamu alaikum. About 23 watching and 8 likes. Hit the like buttons. Hit the like button, guys. Likes, mashallah. Yeah, if you like me, like. Friend put product photography and Insta for her business, and it was in honor of Halloween. The caption mentioned Halloween, and the photo featured candles. It depends. I mean, it all depends exactly how they're doing it, but there might be scope for it. Again, see a lot of the questions that you guys ask me sometimes. I have to look at the context of things. I have to look at who's doing it, where they're doing it, how is it affecting. So it's not just a matter of just asking a person a question and then just. So imagine, for example, me being like a doctor. If you come to me, you say to me, "My next door neighbor's got pain in their right arm." What would you say? What's that? What is that? So you can't just say. We can't say, you got some problem in your muscle or your bone, or you got arthritis, or you got this, or you got that. You have to ask more questions. You have to understand the context of it all. Do you have to be a student of knowledge to reach best potential in Akhirah? No, you don't. Can we be good to others and be best? Yes, of course you can. Definitely. But you will not gain that special privilege that's attained for the scholar. Imagine you're going to go to a big talk, and in the talk, there's a section that is specially for students of knowledge and for scholars, and announcements made in that talk. Anyone who's a scholar, anyone who's a student of knowledge can come and sit in this special, VIP area. You won't get that on the Day of Judgment. Like, for example, the martyrs. The martyrs have a special status on the Day of Judgment. They will have a special VIP area that they'll stand in. And if you're not a martyr, you unfortunately can't get to stand with them. Yeah. So this is why, these kind of statuses, it's all about staying and doing the efforts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as best as you can. Sheikh, we like you for real. Ahlan wa sahlan. May Allah, I like you guys as well. And may Allah keep that love between us. Alhamdulillah. Sometimes it's something which I get attached to students sometimes. Like I miss students. Certain students, I miss them more than others. Yeah. And sometimes you get attached to students, and sometimes students will leave, and you do kind of feel a bit sad sometimes when a student, you put a lot of effort in, they leave, but it's just qadr of Allah, isn't it? So I remember that, like, some of my teachers were like that as well. So when a particular student would leave, sometimes teacher would be a bit down. And the reason they're down is because the attachment, the love that has grown in their hearts. So it's just something which, alhamdulillah, may Allah keep that love between us. Have you seen the English translation of Quduri? Is it good? I've actually got one. It's okay. I mean, there are certain things in there. I think there's some mistakes in there. I don't know if the author is from the author or it's from the publishers. I've got it somewhere. Oh, there it is at the top. Mukhtasar al-Quduri by Tahir Mahmud Kayani. Yeah, so there are some mistakes in there. Am I wrong to considering shaving my beard so people no longer look at me as practicing, as I often am reducing good character standard by which practicing? No, you're wrong. Don't do that. I've started reading Quran. Is it okay if I ask questions about verses I come across? Yes, of course, inshallah. You can ask. Ya Allah. Yeah, so basically that's my weekend, inshallah. So tomorrow, inshallah, in the morning, I'm cycling. Then I got to get ready, prepare for my talk, inshallah. Then I've got, I'm going to go travel to Oldham. It's going to be a long journey. Hopefully, inshallah, I'm not driving. Someone else can drive. So, inshallah, if you are in Oldham, I will check you guys out, inshallah. You can meet up. And it's going to take place in, where is it? Eastern Pavilion Banqueting. Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall. Yeah, Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall. So check that out, inshallah, Oldham. It's going to be in Oldham, inshallah. I'm going to put this poster up on my Telegram. A friend is a train conductor and misses prayers on short winter days. His options: join prayers or pray seated, not facing the Qibla, and then repeat the prayers after work. What is your advice? Possibly he can combine because of the nature of his job, train conducting. Yeah, possibly. I would say he possibly can take the position of other madhab and combine the two salats. If it's Zuhr and Asr, Maghrib, Isha. And otherwise, if he can't do that, then he just prays in a seated manner and then later on does qada of it. I mean, the qada would be out of necessity. Otherwise, if it's a regular thing, then he just has to pray. That's it. He just prays in whatever posture he can, and that's it, inshallah. But this is out of just ihtiyat. When Allah says He puts a seal on people's heart, does this go against free will? No. So everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does in the whole universe is something which is in the control of Allah. No one has any control except Allah. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, a seed grows, so the shoot comes out, Allah has ordained for that seed to open up on a specific time. And then it grows, and then it opens up, and then it gives, blossoms, and then gives fruit, etc. Likewise, when a human being, everything that happens in a human being's body is ordained, preordained, exactly how the cells are going to regenerate and how it's going to grow and how the teeth are going to grow and the hair and everything. The human intervention is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives the human being the capacity to make choices according to a limited set of choices. So for example, let's say a person's going to wake up in the morning and they decide that they're going to stay in bed, or they can get out of the bed. It's got two choices. And if they get out of the bed, they got a choice. They can either walk to the bathroom or they can go to the kitchen. And if they go to the bathroom, they got a choice. They can take a shower or they can just wash their face and clean their teeth. And so see, all the choices you make in your life, all these choices, all these choices are like all the possibilities that you can make in life. This is all taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there's certain choices you cannot make. So if you get out of bed, you cannot decide, I'm going to fly out of bed. You can't do that because that is not within the taqdeer that Allah has set for you. Yeah, that's for a bird or whatever. So then whatever choices you make, that is the ultimate decision that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to make for you. So for example, let's say you made a choice that you are going to go and take a shower. So you went to the bath and you put the bath on and the shower came on. But maybe Allah on that particular day will not allow the shower to work. So you go in the shower, you can't take a shower. So therefore, that means that choice that you made over there, Allah put an impediment in the way and stopped it from happening. So the decisions that you make, Allah gives you the ability to make those decisions and intentions, and it's based upon that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make whatever happens next. So that could lead to you being paved the way to go Jannah or paved the way to go Jahannam. Yeah, and ultimately, it's all in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah may forgive you from committing sins, and Allah may punish you. Right? So you always, every single human being is always begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy. That's what it is. So when the Quran mentions the seal on the heart, the seal on the heart doesn't just come without any reason. The seal on the heart is there because of the choices that the individual has made, has decided. Like Fir'aun. Fir'aun's choices that he had made resulted in the seal on his heart. And the same with Abu Lahab, the choices that he made. Shah Jamia Blackburn have released a Quran dictionary. Ahlan wa sahlan, mashallah. Can't wait to see that. Is it haram for Muslims to celebrate Halloween anyway? It would be, I would say, it would be something that goes against, it would definitely go against the teachings of Islam, because it's venerating, honoring evil spirits. It's venerating and honoring things that are evil in essence. That's what it is. So generally people should avoid these kind of things. Like if a non-Muslim decides to have, let's say, for example, naked day, everyone's going to be naked, then clearly that's something that goes against the teachings of Islam. Does that make sense? Requesting course on how to develop the courage and rujula in our life is important in this day and age. Ahlan wa sahlan, inshallah. Inshallah it's a good topic. If someone does Jum'ah ghusl when, even if not in a state of janaba, but didn't fulfill all requirements of ghusl, would wudu later be okay to do salah? Yes. So what do you mean they didn't fulfill the requirements of ghusl? Like what? What do you mean? We did not do birthday parties. Other Muslims inviting to their home for birthday parties. Is it sinful to attend? I mean, I have no issue with birthday parties. There's no evidence, according to what I've learnt, to say that birthday parties are wrong. If you believe birthday parties are wrong, then that's fine. That's your own personal position on that. And if you don't attend, it's fine, no problem. But I don't see a problem with it. Can you please explain the difference between the scenarios when either the genus or the factor attributed to the item, measure, or weight differ from Quduri's Buyut section? I don't understand. I'm not. If you can clarify a bit more of exactly what you're talking about. If you can give me the masala exactly, then I can. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. Muhammad Huda, Ahla wa sahlan. Please make dua for me. I need to develop my mu'amalat with Arham. May Allah give you barakah in your wealth, in your health. May Allah soften your heart. May Allah have mercy on you and your family and your health, and make it easy for you to become a flag holder of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in character. Which one of your playlists I can learn the Hanafi fiqh from? Is a playlist called Mukhtasar al-Quduri. Mukhtasar al-Quduri begins with M. Mukhtasar al-Quduri. Check that out, inshallah. Do you have one or more YouTube channels? No, I only have one. Surah, I had another one which I've tried to put my biking stuff on there, but I haven't used that for like a couple of years now. Surah Baqarah verse 11 and 12 mentions, when it is said to them, do not make mischief in the land, they say, we only want to put things right. Indeed, they are the ones who make mischief. But they do not realize if they do not realize it, and they liable of punishment as actions are according to intentions, and these wrongdoers, I'm not sure which are doing, but they don't realize. If they do not realize it, are they liable for punishment? Okay, so look, the verse of the Quran is talking about a specific type of individual in the community. It's talking about what you call the munafiq, the hypocrite. So imagine, for example, imagine someone like Netanyahu, right, or Biden, or I don't know, Ben Shapiro, yeah. And you clearly show them you are doing wrong. Everyone is saying to them, you're doing wrong, you're doing wrong, you're doing wrong. Yeah. And they have kind of like twisted their own belief system to believe that they're always right. Why have they done this for? They're narcissists. They have an ego problem, right? So imagine like a psychopath or a sociopath who you keep telling that this thing is wrong, but they have become adamant that whatever they do is right, whatever everyone else does is wrong. Right? These are the people who obviously they've got no excuse for why they're in that state, except because they're feeding their ego. They can't take criticism from other people. That's the thing. So this is what this verse is basically talking. Allah is showing that in your community there are those people, even if you say clearly to them and show them all the proofs that they're doing wrong, like the Iraq war, you clearly showed Tony Blair, you clearly showed Bush, all these people, they keep saying no, because they had ulterior motives. And that's what Allah is saying over here. وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Like they don't even have that sense of feeling anymore because they've twisted their own belief so much that they've desensitized themselves to seeing innocent children being killed. La yashurun. They don't even feel what they're doing is wrong anymore now. And that is a bad state. Allah is showing us, do not go into that state. Once you go into that state, then for you to commit crimes will just become easy for you. Does that make sense? Correct way to translate khawarim al-muru'ah. So those things that taint dignity and nobility. The things that taint, the things that affect. Walaikum salam. Some problems are future problems, like all the children, adults also exposed to war directly or indirectly. How to get in front of ensuing outcome of the effects of this. Children exposed to war directly or indirectly. How to. So this is why, this is a good point. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge every single person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge every single individual according to their own unique set of circumstances. So that child who has actually gone through a life of war, seen their parents being killed, grown up, their judgment on the Day of Judgment is going to be totally different from a child that was brought up in a middle class society in the West. Totally different. Yeah, because clearly Allah knows all the decisions that they're going to make, that individual makes in that war-torn country, in their whole life, are going to be, or very likely are going to be, an outcome of all those circumstances that they were exposed to. Does that make sense? This is why Allah's justice is so perfect and accurate. Allah is just the ultimate justice is Allah's. Right? So Allah will not judge any two people in the world exactly the same. They will always be judged in their own way, unique way. It's like, imagine the exam paper in an exam. Normally, an exam, if there's 10 students in an exam, everyone gets the same paper, don't they? And they're judged in the same way. But on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to judge everyone with a separate exam paper. Everyone's exam paper is just unique, every human being. Is it sinful to say Merry Christmas and receiving gifts? Receiving gifts would be fine, but saying giving gifts as Christmas would not be right. People should avoid, unless there's a dire necessity for it. And saying I don't think there's any need for any Muslim to say Merry Christmas to anyone. Are all the 6 Hanafi fiqh books on your YouTube channel? Are all the 6 Hanafi fiqh books? Which Hanafi 6 books? There's actually more than 6. Which ones do you mean? إذا عدم الوصفان الجنس والمعنى المضموم إليه حل التفاضل والنساء. Then it's meant how if either one of these is absent. Oh, I see. You're talking about riba, yeah? So basically, when it comes to riba is of 2 types. Riba nasi and riba al-fadl. So you have credit riba and surplus riba. Credit riba is basically where you give me money and then I give you back the same money with some extra on top. Right? That's called credit riba, riba fadl, riba nasi. And the second type is called riba al-fadl, surplus riba, where basically we have a trade, we do a trade-off, we exchange things from one to another. Yeah, we exchange things. And the 2 items are exactly the same thing. So 100 grams of gold for 100 grams of gold, that's allowed. But 200 grams of gold for 100 grams of gold is not allowed, because the 2 sides are exactly the same in genus, and both items are measured in the same manner by weight. This is called al-ma'na al-madhmum ilayhi. So al-jins wal-ma'na al-madhmum ilayhi. If one of the 2 is missing, so for example, let's say I'm selling silver for gold, so the genus is different. They're from 2 different materials, 2 different elements, but they're weighed the same. then I have to exchange in the gathering, in the sitting. So I can't give one today and the other one tomorrow, no. But I can give as much as I like. I can give 100 grams of gold for, or 500 grams of silver. That's totally allowed. So the tafadul is allowed, excess is allowed, but the selling, in the wants is not allowed outside the setting. So if you want to go over more, then I've actually gone through the whole of this in Kuduri, in the section of riba. In the chapter of riba, I've actually gone through all this in detail. So has that answered your question? Can you please explain the difference between the scenarios when either the genus or the factor attributed to the item? Yeah. So if you actually go through my Kuduri and the section of riba, I've explained all of this in detail with examples. Are teachers required to make dua for students? I would definitely say students naturally would make dua. I make dua for my students, definitely, without a doubt. My teachers used to make it for us. Planet Destroyer, Assalamu alaikum. Ahla wa sahlan, Planet Destroyer. What is the protocol for mixing madahib? When does talfiq invalidate worship? So generally, a person can only mix the madahib when there is a dire need for it. Otherwise, they shouldn't. Yeah, they shouldn't do it. That's basically the rule. And when does talfiq invalidate worship? Again, it all depends. The thing is, look, general public do not usually follow a madhab. They generally follow what a scholar has taught them. That's what they generally follow. However, in ibadat, they should stick to one madhab. Students of knowledge, ulama, they are the ones that adhere to a specific madhab when they answer questions. So I hope that answers your question. So the protocol basically is you can only mix madhabs when there is a dire need for it. Like the situation is so challenging, you can't act upon the particular madhab that you follow. You can take from the other madhab. When Allah says in verse 2 of Surah Baqarah that there is no doubt in this book, but one is unsure, has questions about the Quran, are they sinful for... Wait, no, not at all. So there is no doubt, meaning there is no doubt that this book has come from Allah. As in, that's the ultimate, that is what the ultimate Quran is. It is the words of Allah. Now, your journey to the Quran might be a difficult journey. So there might be, let's say, two people who are approaching the Quran. And one person's approach to the Quran is they just accept everything the Quran says. And one person is they're always having questions and questions. That's fine. But ultimately, once you have passed all of this, you will ultimately realize the Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no doubt at all in that. That's the thing. And there's actually a good, I remember I watched this video of a new Muslim, and he actually said, the thing that made me become Muslim was because of that verse. I read the verse, Alif Lam Mim, Dhalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fi. There is no doubt at all. There's no doubt at all in this book. So he said, how can the author of this book be so confident there's no doubt in here? So I wanted to investigate. So because I read and I read. Eventually, it led me to Islam. It made me realize the Quran is actually true. It actually makes everything make sense. I mean, I don't know how much Quran you guys read, but with the events that have been unfolding in the past month in Palestine, so many verses start to become more clear to scholars and students. It just makes so much sense what the Quran is saying about how evil humans can become, and just ajib. Okay, I mean main. The main 6 books, I saying. No, not all of them are in publication. That's the thing. No, I haven't gone through the 6. Jazakallah khair. Ahlan wa sahlan. Ahlan wa sahlan. Are teachers required? That one. When Allah says verse 2, then that one. Is it sufficient for a layperson to watch YouTube videos for following Deen? I would say if it's just for motivation, it's okay. But if it's to understand the fundamentals of Islam, then it all depends how clear is the teacher. I would generally say that a person should, whatever sort of like courses that they do online, they should always try to have contact with a teacher or a scholar to clarify some of the misconceptions that might have. Otherwise, they could be following something on YouTube and their understanding is is different from what the YouTube channel is actually saying. They haven't really understood it 100%. They've understood it 70% or 80%. 20% they've got misunderstanding. Side question, apart from the Quran related questions, are Shia and Ahmadiyya considered Muslim? So it depends. Ahmadiyya is definitely non-Muslim. Shia, it depends, just like Sunnis, what they believe. So there's many types of Shia out there, different types of Shia. Which of the Hanafi Aimah allow the Imam to say the opening takbir at قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ in the Iqamah? I have experienced it once, yeah. So this is actually a strong position in the Hanafi school. Abu Yusuf Rahimullah mentions it and others. Khawarim al-Muru'ah is anything that will make you look like, make you look bad in society. Like, for example, I don't know, it depends on society as well. So for instance, like maybe someone spitting on the floor in some societies, that belittles them in the society, makes people frown upon them and look down upon them. And other societies that might be fine. Why do people usually enter studies? Do people ever go because family signed them up? Yeah, depends what studies you're talking about. Like, are you talking about university studies, madrasa studies? I want to say I really appreciate you doing this, being able to ask questions. Alhamdulillah. You're welcome, my brother Amma. You're welcome. Just make dua for me, my brother. I need lots of duas. Assalamu alaikum, Sharif. Ahlan wa sahlan. Extra most bestest point. Additionally, was wondering about the anger hearts that are being produced and education. The angry hearts that are being produced and education. I don't understand the education part. So I would, again, generally, this is where when in the Quran Allah says, جَعَلْنَا بَعْضَكُمْ لِبَعْضٍ fitna. We have made you trials and tribulation, fitna for each other. Some people's upbringing might just mean that they're a bit more angry because of what they've been through. And maybe just the way their temperament is, the way their biology is, their makeup is, that's how they are. Some people might be more timid. So again, the main thing would be that some people would have to control their anger more than others. Some people will have to work on sabr more than others. Some people will have to work more on jealousy than others. It's one of those kind of things. Can we join more than one niyyah in qaza fasting, such as in making up missed fasts and weight loss? Yes, you can do that, inshallah. I sometimes behave better when in public, as people see me with a beard and I feel responsible to do so. Is this not punishable because I am behaving? No, it's not. It's actually a good thing. What do I do? Sometimes I think I should pray quicker in public as I pray quicker in private. No. So what I would say, look, it's good. It is good to have these, because that is naturally human beings in a public setting would be much more careful in how they say and how they do things than being behind, like, so for example, behind a screen. Someone doesn't know who you are, and you feel more at liberty to say whatever you want, and freedom. So this is where you have to kind of control yourself more. So the idea is, in public, of course, people should behave in a more, like, for example, in a Jummah gathering, you're going to behave super cautious than how you would behave if you were with your mates on a Saturday night out, going to eat somewhere. So definitely, it's fine. Planet Destroyer. When taking opinion of other madhab on ibadah due to hardship, do you need to do the entire act according to it for validity? How does taking a Maliki opinion on tahara affect salah? Again, why would you need to take that for? I would say any issue you have, you should always speak to a scholar. You do not just pick and choose yourself. It's like, for example, if you have a medical issue, you don't just go online and just diagnose yourself with an issue and prescribe medicines for yourself. You speak to a professional doctor. So the same thing is, if you ever feel the need, you need to take another opinion of a madhab, you speak to a scholar about this. Inshallah, speak to a Maliki scholar, or speak to whoever you need to speak to. Otherwise, what this is basically a person acting on ignorance, acting upon jahl, and that's been frowned upon by the scholars, and the Quran mentions it as well. Can you combine intentions in nafal, ijid, tahajjud, tawbah? Yes, you can, inshallah. When talking about Moses, people in the Quran, Surah Baqarah, Allah mentions that it's sent down to them man and salwa. What are these? So there's a difference of opinion. We don't exactly 100% know what the man and salwa were, but there seem to be two types of sustenance that they were given that was replenishing the needs of their body. So if you're if you're a large group of people traveling in a desert for weeks or months, you obviously need to eat on a daily basis, isn't it? And you can't keep cooking food. It's not practical. Where are you going to get the food from? So this kind of like naturally occurring food. Some say the man was like this like fungus or mushroom that was growing that gave them the energy they needed. And the salwa, some say that this was the quails, like small little birds that would just appear, fly, and they would settle and they would capture them and they would slaughter them and eat them. Some say it was that. And some say there was other possible. So we don't 100% know exactly what they were. That's why the Mufassirin differ on this. The point is we don't need to know what it was. What all we need to know about this verse is that Allah is saying how He had provided for them on this difficult journey. He gave them the provisions and means. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more barakah in your life and work. Ameen, ameen. Please make dua for us to be consistent on deen. Ameen. Make dua for me as well. I'm not the perfect person, guys. I'm not a very consistent person myself. I try to do my best, and I need your duas, guys. When you need to check up a fiqh masala, can you please list a few books that are your go-to books? Thanks. So it all depends what I'm looking for. So generally, I mean, like today, for example, I actually went through about 10 books. So what I try to do is, if I'm going through a fiqh masala, I try to go through. So this is what you learn in iftar. Try to go through the earliest sources first of all, and then you work your way forwards. Yeah, what was written later, and then after that, and chronologically, and then you start to build a picture of exactly what the core masala is, and then what later scholars have elaborated on or added to it. So you can see the bigger picture. That's very important to understand. So yeah, start from the earliest works, the mukhtasars first of all, and then you build on the shuruhat, etc. So you start off with, for example, like Al-Asl by Imam Muhammad, or Mukhtasar, after that Mukhtasar al-Tahawi, Mukhtasar al-Quduri, and then you look into Tuhfat al-Fuqaha, Wiqaya, al-Mukhtar, Kanz, and then you go move on to the Shuruhat, so Hidayah, you look into Lubab, you look into Bahr al-Ra'iq, Badai Sanai, and then I look into sometimes Sharh ibn Qaya, maybe even look into Nahr al-Faiq, look into Sharh al-Wiqaya, done that. Maybe Inaya, Al-Ghaya. So there's quite a few I actually look into. It depends what kind of masala. Sometimes it's a simple, easy masala, and then I can just quickly find the answer to it without a problem. Sometimes it takes even a few days to look it up. Isha, is it Isha, you saying? Is makruh after the okay. Isha salat is makruh after the half night while expiring at dawn, but if half night defined from Maghrib to dawn. So what you do is you divide Maghrib and Fajr in half, yeah, and that's basically where you split the line. Yeah, so Maghrib to Fajr. Any book that mentions 72 sects of Jews and differences amongst their sects, of the Jews, 72 sects of the Jews. No, I don't know. But there are books that are written in Arabic on various sects of the past. Like, for example, Al-Fisal, Fil-Mil wa Nihal, Al-Mil wa Nihal. These are books that were written by early scholars in the 400s, 500s. When scholars have different opinions about what men and son were, where do they derive these ideas? Are they purely from themselves? So they usually either get them from statements of Sahaba, Tabi'in, and Semitic texts, biblical texts, if it's relevant to the biblical. So because the story of Musa alayhi salam is found a lot in the biblical texts, so they might get it from there. Barakallah Shaykh, ahlan wa sahlan wa fika. Do I need to ask a scholar of my madhab or any other madhab I'd like to take from? You can mention to him, look, I normally follow this particular madhab. What do you suggest I do in this situation? What steps do we need to take to create that ummati type of love in the ummah? Is do as much as you can for the ummah. Like, why is it that a person loves their children so much? It's because of the attachment they have to them, about everything they've done for them. So this is what you need to do. You need to do more for the ummah, be more kinder to them, financially support them, be there for them when they're in time of need. That's how you're going to have love for them. I've heard different commentaries, Ibn Kathir, Saadi, who are these people. Inshallah. Don't worry. First of all, read the Quran and then you'll learn about these people, inshallah. Would it be a good gift to donate books for a serious student of Deen for their personal library? If they're going to use them. Yeah, I would say better than that. Try to find a student of knowledge who the books they need. Ask them, what books do you need? And I'll buy them for you. You just tell me where to get them from. Here are the whatever, and then that would be a good thing. As you can see, Ustad, I am on my way through Surah Baqarah. May I continue to read it? Of course you can, my brother. Of course you can. How does one work out the time of Dahwa Kubra? So Dahwa Kubra is basically from Fajr all the way up till Maghrib is split in half. You're welcome, Planet Destroyer. In certain Muslim countries, Turkey, there are many dogs and cats that roam around the cities. Is it permissible to stroke? Yes, of course. No problem stroking a dog. Okay, guys, then I am going to finish it there. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for watching and joining me today. And hope you guys have a wonderful week. Inshallah, videos are going to be back from Monday. Tomorrow, if you guys are in Oldham, I will see you guys there, hopefully. And otherwise, have a wonderful week. Remember me in your du'as as well. And remember, check out my videos as well if you guys are interested in, and share my videos with other people so people can benefit. And if you're interested in doing any of the courses, check out my YouTube channel, which you can see the link is going to come underneath as well. You can check out the uruk.com website. On there I have courses, and also have a Telegram. Keep yourself updated with the latest, inshallah. And I will see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To all of you guys, to Riyaz and Ama and Planet Destroyer and HK and I don't know who else is, Sharif and NS. I don't even know, half of you guys don't even know what you look like and what your names are. But I just know you like that. So when I make dua for you guys, I just say whatever names are on the screen. Be good. And okay, be good. I know be good. And yeah, Brad Pitt. Yeah, Brad Pitt's a new one. Mahir, mashallah. And Irfan as well, definitely. Irfan. I mean, Jazakumullah khair, guys. Jazakumullah khair. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.